Hello, beautiful people. I hope that you are all doing really, really well. I wanted to come to you with a topic that is top of mind for me as I've been talking to some of our GiRLiFE coaches. And I think really it's something that gets in the way of all of us. Have you ever heard that sometimes we just need to get out of our own way? And that we are the bottleneck in our own journey, whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. Well, today I want to come and really talk about this specifically when we're talking about women on a mission to impact girls and how we know we've been called. We've talked about this idea that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called, or she, of course. So it's like, it's not about us having all the perfect qualifications, which brings us here. It's actually about us having that open heart, that heart for service. That is why we are called. When we're called to that, the qualifications fall into place. The open-heartedness, the desire for impact, the that willingness to step outside of our fear and do more for our next generation, because we just know that when we do that, we move mountains, we change generations. It's an amazing, amazing feeling when we get on the other side of that fear. But what I know for sure is that specifically as women, when we step into a new role or a new endeavor, we want to be the best at it, right? We want to give as much as we've got, and we perhaps stop ourselves because we're not sure that we've got the right stuff, right? I'm thinking of that New Kids on the Block song, "You've got the right stuff, baby." If you're with me, you know what I'm talking about. But you do have the right stuff. You already have the right stuff by virtue of being a woman. And so today I want to take you through a few steps to really eliminate your fear. Think about the word fear, F-E-A-R. And sometimes like we think about fear as something that we run away from. And I want you to use the acronym of fear as face everything and rise. So from now on, when you think of fear, I want you to think face everything and rise, because that is your birthright. It is your birthright to move in the direction of your fear and know that there's so much personal growth that is going to come from it. What more is like when we step into this role of being a GiRLiFE coach and running that first girls empowerment workshop, what we most want to impart on the girls is confidence, right? Is stepping outside of their own comfort zones to create, to feel more comfortable in their own skin, to create positive relationships in the world. This is where the evolution really kicks in. And so if that is our greatest wish for girls, then wouldn't it be great for us to role model that by first and foremost saying yes to this opportunity of running that first girls empowerment workshop, saying if I want to be that inborn leader that guides girls and empowers girls, then what do I have to do? I need to first show up for myself so that I can show up for those girls. I need to put that workshop date on the calendar. I need to create that flyer and put it out there that this is what I'm doing because I feel called and this is my work in the world and I'm just so excited. And something I invite you to know is that that feeling of anxiety and fear in your body, you know, the heart palpitations, the sweaty palms, the rosy cheeks, that is the exact same feeling of excitement. So if you can reframe that fear and know that those feelings can also be feelings of excitement, not just fear, then we can move in the direction of excitement, of like, my goodness, my heart is beating so fast because this work is so moving and inspiring to me, right? My voice is shaking because I'm speaking my truth. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Show up, even if your voice shakes. Because as long as you're stepping into your authenticity, then your voice shaking is the most real thing that can be happening, right? It's the most real thing that you could potentially be sharing with the girls that you serve. So I want to share with you my very first workshop ever. Some of you know the story. I literally made this decision on a beach in Punta Cana as I watched my daughters skip the waves with excitement and so much mindfulness and like that presence. They were in the moment. They weren't thinking about anything but being here right now, which is such a goal of mine. And it's my goal with everyone I work with, for us to have that presence and to be in the now. And when I decided that I'm going to start running girls empowerment workshops, I immediately put myself on that hook. I went on Facebook. I shared that, like, I am here to do this work. I feel called. I'm opening my heart. If you feel called to send your girls to my workshop, this is what we're going to be teaching. We're going to introduce them to their superpowers. We're going to teach them how to show up authentically. We're going to teach them how to create friendships that last and friendships that are mutually beneficial. We're going to teach them all about kindness. We're going to teach them how to harness the power of their thoughts and use thoughts that are powerful and thoughts that are going to uplift them instead of thoughts that are going to drain them. We want them to be fountains, not drains. So I said all this stuff, and like, it was in those moments, I was having like a Jerry Maguire moment, right? I was having that moment where I couldn't say enough because there was so much coming to and through me. And so when it came through me, I allowed it. I opened the doors to that. I didn't fight it, right? I flowed with it. I posted that on Facebook. And, you know, when you've got that energy of excitement and conviction, nobody can argue with you. Nobody can say, what are you doing? Like, this is not right. Instead, my energy was so anabolic. It was so open. It was so vibrating at a high capacity that the people who received this message, the parents, were like, this is amazing. Where's this been? And if I had written that from a fearful, catabolic energy kind of place where I was like unsure and doubtful, that would have come through too. But I opened my heart, right? I let my desire for impact be so much greater than my fear. And this beautiful thing happened where I was met with enthusiasm from the parents. And 2 weeks later, I had my very first girls empowerment workshop in my living room with 22 girls. 22 girls came through my doors, and I had the great privilege of serving them. Now, let me tell you what was happening before I opened the door, though. Let me tell you what was happening from 2 weeks before, 1 week before, 2 days before, the night before. I was anxious. I was feeling uncertain. I was feeling scared. I was feeling all those things, but I had already put it out there that this is what I'm doing, and there was no turning back. I wasn't going to turn back. I was committed to my vision. At the same time as I had fear, I also had clarity of vision, and I knew that this was my work to do in the world, and I knew that I needed to step into the fear. But again, I keep saying this, do it with an open heart. When you do it with an open heart, the energy is pure. What comes through you is real. And I opened that door, and those girls walked in, and I just did it, right? I did the thing. I moved through the motions. I shared with them everything that was so hard for me to share, that was so important for me to share, but also a little hard for me to share. I'd never done this before, not in this capacity, but I knew that perfection doesn't exist. And I knew that the only thing that does exist is inspired and aligned action. And that's what I was taking. And yes, my cheeks were red. Yes, I felt like my heart was beating out of my chest. Yes, I had those sweaty palms. I did, but I did it. I did it. And it was beautiful and it was emotional. And by the time the 2 hours passed, which it did, the 2 hours passed so quickly. And the girls were leaving. They were asking, when do I get to come back? Can I come back tomorrow? Can I come back next week, Miss Melody? It was the most beautiful thing because they were feeling my heart. They were feeling what it was that I so deeply wanted to impart on them. I spoke to them with honesty and transparency and authenticity, and they felt it. They felt it, and that was the beginning of something incredible. And if I hadn't taken that step, we wouldn't be here today. 10 years later, I'm sitting here with 200 women in the GiRLiFE Academy, taking these tools, taking this curriculum and running their girls empowerment workshops, and being those fearless and fierce leaders that they know that they could be. And I was willing to be their wings until they took flight. I was willing to give that support, and to show them that on the other side is something so incredibly beautiful. So put that workshop on the calendar, put out that letter, send out that text, post that Facebook post that shares with the world that this is your work to do. You're stepping into your life's purpose. You're uncovering it and you're here for it and you're here to serve girls and you're not going to stop. You're just going to do it. You can't stop. You won't stop. You're going to do the thing and be real about it in your workshops. It's not about being this like manicured, perfect version of yourself at the workshop. It's about being you, quirks and all, fear and all of it. Bring it to the table. Be real about it. Share. There have been workshops where I've shared with the girls, I actually felt really nervous to do this with all of you because it's so important to me that I share these tools, these inner tools with you. And I wasn't sure if it would come out in the right way, and I was nervous, but guess what? I did it anyway. And here we are learning and growing together. Isn't it beautiful? Call yourself out, grow, evolve, be willing. It is such a beautiful, beautiful place to dwell in, and be okay with failing forward and learning as you go. Be okay with taking that action. Pure clarity comes from action, not from thought. Thinking and thinking and thinking and never doing the thing, you will get no clarity. You will learn nothing. So what I want for you is to take the action because the action is what delivers, right? The action is what helps you get to where you need to be. Think about all of like the athletic coaches in the world who teach their craft, who teach their sport. They can talk about basketball theoretically till they're blue, but what's going to happen is until that team player, right? Until those athletes get out onto the court and do the things that they've been taught over and over again, until they take that action, until they take the ball and get it onto the court and start dribbling and start shooting, they are not going to know what they're capable of. And this is the same thing. In theory, we could talk about your first workshop forever and ever and ever, but until you actually get onto the court of life, until you actually run that first workshop, you're not going to know what you're made of. I want to show you what you're made of. I want to show you how incredibly powerful and magical and magnetic and abundant you are to serve our girls. And it's just not going to happen if you sit and think about it and wish for it and dream about it. Manifestation is about doing those things, but then letting those things inspire you to take action. Manifestation is not about wishing and waiting and hoping. It's about really having that deep intention and then taking action on it. I know that I've got some people live here with me. If you have any comments, I'm so here for it. I want to hear from you. I want you to open your heart and speak to me and let my heart speak with you. Let's Let's really talk about what we're here to do. And when you talk about it and you think about it and you act upon it, that's when we make moves, right? That's when we cause ripples. That's when we change the world one girl at a time. I know that that's what you're here for. I'm here to do it with you. I'm here to guide you through it. You showed up here for a reason. There's a reason you're part of our community, our GiRLiFE community, our Launchpad community, our Empowering Her podcast community. You came because there's something pulling you towards girls' empowerment. And I'm here to help and serve you along the way. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me, melody@getgirlpower.com. I know that I was put on this earth to kind of be like a corkscrew. Is that a funny analogy? But to help open you to your own greatness, to help remove the limitations and blocks that you may place on yourself that are holding you from reaching the potential that when you start stepping into, you become unstoppable, and you nurture the inner girl within you, and then you take it outside and you nurture the young girls around you. So let's do this. Let's do this together. Thank you for being here with me. You mean the world to me. I love you all, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.